Welcome back to Outdoors with Larry Ray on ESPN 790 AM.
Brought to you proudly by the Tennessee Wildlife and Resources Agency.
Watch the sunrise, new day's dawning.
I tell you what, I've been waiting to watch the sunrise for the last week. We haven't had a lot of sunrises. We haven't had a lot of sun, to tell you the truth. And I'm sure that Frank Barton is taking care of himself and not breaking ice anywhere else. Frank, how's it been in the cold over there in your neck of the woods?
Oh, we've been managing okay, just trying to keep staying on the top of the road and not slide off anywhere.
Yeah, and Bill, I'm sure in Jackson, Tennessee, when I called Bill the other morning to make sure he's okay to be our co-host, he was telling me that he was in the Kroger parking lot, and he just saw a lady. How did you describe that, Bill?
I'm not sure if I can say it on the radio, but she busted a part of her anatomy.
She busted a part of her anatomy. How about that, Brad Carson? See, I mean,
I like the way he phrased that. That was well done.
Yeah, Bill knows how to put phrases together.
Kind of a workaround from Bill, yeah.
Well, we got a guy coming up right now with us on Outdoors with Larry Ray that a friend of mine, Jim Perry. I know that Bill Cooksey knows Jim Perry from up in Kentucky Lake and everything. And he sent me a picture of this gentleman with a crappie that weighed 3.48 pounds. And I also know that this guy's also involved in the Asian carp situation at Kentucky Lake. He is a guide on Kentucky and Barkley Lake. Been wanting to have him on the show, and when I saw him with that picture of, not only did he show the big picture of the big fish, but he showed a normal-sized picture, guys, and it made the fish look bigger. But that's Terry Elliott. Good morning, Terry. How you doing?
Good morning. How are y'all today?
All right, let's talk about the big fish. Now, I asked Bill Cooksey what he considers a slab. Now, I'm going to ask you, Terry. You've been guiding full time for the last 3 years, been on that lake forever for crappie, bass, catfish, brim, whatever. What does Terry Elliott consider a crappie, a slab?
As far as Kentucky Lake and this area right here, anything I would say over 2 pounds, or really anything pushing 2 pounds, is what I consider Kentucky Lake slab.
So how does this fish compare to your previous biggest fish?
This is a monster right here. It's the largest fish, in fact, I've ever caught in my life as far as a crappie, and I've caught a lot of big fish on Kentucky Lake. Nothing this big, but I also fish a lot of the lakes in Mississippi and, you know, the Grenadas and places like that. We catch a lot of 3-pound fish down there, but I've never caught one at 3.5.
3.5 pounds, and you want to tell our people how this fish was caught? You want to give away a secret, or you want to keep it to yourself? But I'd like to know what you caught it on, how you did it.
No, I don't mind sharing. It was actually on the 8th of this month.
Okay.
I had actually gone out a little bit on that morning. I had the afternoon guide trip, and the guys' customers weren't supposed to be there until about noon, and which is pretty normal for this time of year right here. They wanted to warm up a little bit. And I went out to check some areas. I'm holding fish, been holding some a lot of fish. I knew where my fish were that I was going to use that afternoon, so I thought, well, go check some other areas. Went to an area I hadn't fished in several months. And I caught a couple good fish off a deep brush pile, and this particular pile was right at 21 feet deep. I caught it on a Lake Fork tackle, live baby shad. The color was actually black and blue. It's called a blue bruiser. And I had a crappie nibble on it. I'd caught the fish you saw in the picture with this fish was a 1.7 pound, which right at 1.75 pound fish is. I'd caught it first and then caught this big fish second.
Oh, you did? So you caught that other one the same? That was the same day catch then. So
I actually caught 4 out of the same brush pile that morning.
Did you really? Okay, Bill, you hearing that, Bill?
Hey, the small fish is a dang nice crappie.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was figuring out there. So, what did you do with the fish? Are you going to have it mounted?
I am. I haven't mounted the fish for several years. I've mounted a few fish years ago that were over 3 pounds, and I've caught several since then over. But you can only put so many fish on the wall. But this being a 3.5 pound fish, being the biggest one I've ever caught, and especially been on Kentucky Lake, meant a lot to me.
You got to mount that baby. I know that. So I know you know you're a guide up there. You got kids and grandkids and all this kind of stuff. But you're actively, as Jim told me, you're really involved in this Asian carp situation, as Bill Cooksey has kept. He keeps up with it too. But talk about your involvement there, and talk about the ongoing battle with the Asian carp.
Well, as far as officially, I'm not involved, but I am someone that's on the lake over 200 days a year. So I've got a good handle on what's going on, and seeing what's going on with these fish. I can see I've seen a big improvement over the last 2 years with what these commercial fishermen guys are doing. So and these guys are working hard at it. I mean, they're bringing anywhere from 5,000 to 10,000 pounds of these fish a day.
Wow.
And I can see a big difference. There's way too many of them still up there, and they are a nuisance, but I am seeing some improvement. Well,
I know, Bill, you've taken people out to look at them and things along that line, and it's a shame to think. That's why I was so glad to see this crappie posted. I don't know how many views this thing got around the country, Terry, or whatever it might have been on social media. But Kentucky Lake has been so much into the news about Asian carp. To see this fish was kind of just a booster to the lake itself. Wouldn't you consider that, Bill?
Well, I mean, yeah, but, the Asian carp, that's been all the news, and they're awful, and hopefully we're going to eventually figure out how to stop them at the dams, and then the commercial fishermen can really, cut them even more. But if we can get them going on our grass back, hopefully there will be more 3-pound crappie caught in the future.
I know you'd get that grass back in there, Terry. I knew that Bill would have to mention that. So talk a little bit about your guide service, ma'am. So
let me touch before I go into that. Let me touch a little bit. I've got a couple of ideas on the carp that not everybody agrees with, but I'm somebody up there a lot. The carp are definitely a nuisance fish. I'd love to see them gone. At the same time, I think they got caught up in a perfect storm for getting all the blame what's went up there. If you go back to the winter of 2015, we had temperatures like we've seen in the last week or so, and the river was basically all froze over, and we lost probably 90% of our bait fish.
Yes. Yeah.
So, I mean, that hurt our fish a lot, and we had a couple bad spawns at the same time. And you take nothing for the fish to eat and bad spawns. We had bad fish, and these lakes go through cycles. All lakes do.
Yeah.
And at the same time, here come the population of Asian carp. So everybody put 2 and 2 together, and the carp got all the blame.
They got all the blame.
I think they got caught up in a perfect storm there. They definitely need to go, but there was a lot of factors that brought this lake down. But at the same time, our bait fish are back now, and the lake is really rebounding very nicely right now.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, and Bill can chip in on this too, also about this extreme cold for a week. What's that going to mean to fish kills and things along that? Is that a possibility, Terry, that could have maybe the shad or whatever it might be? What's your thoughts on that?
It could be. Typically, you'll see your shad start dying off as the temperature gets below 40 or so. As of Thursday, I was checking. I keep my eyes on the Murray State's got a Hancock Biological Station, which monitors the lake 24/7. They've got stations in the water. 37.5 is the lowest I've seen the water temperature in the past week or so. The biggest difference between now and 2015 was we already had a hard winter going, and it stayed pretty harsh. Highs in the 20s and stuff after that 8 and 10 degrees, 5 degrees stuff like we've had recently. Where this year, we were in 50s last week. We're going to be in 50s this coming week. So maybe not as harsh of a winter, so I think we'll be a little bit better off.
Well, that's
I'll tell you what I think the biggest impact is going to be for a lot of folks is the people that are looking for stick-ups to find their stake mats in shallow water. A lot of those are going to be gone.
Absolutely.
That's true, yeah. Well, Terry, tell our listeners how to get in touch with you if they want to set up a guide trip or whatever. Give them a tip here.
Okay, sure. I can be found on the web, www.elliotsguideservice.com. I'm also on Facebook and all your social medias. Got my phone number and everything right there. The bookings are really coming in real good, and that 3.5-pound crappie didn't hurt nothing. I assure you that.
I bet it didn't. Well,
phones started ringing pretty hard when you start getting it out there. But we've had a real good winter. The winter's been mild. The fishing's been good already. I mean, I'm up to over 400 fish since January 1st already.
Really?
Of course, this last 10 days or so, it's been kind of tough. So we're looking forward to getting back out there Monday, I believe. I think we'll probably get some ramps unfroze, and I'll be back on the water Monday. I do a lot of reports on my Facebook stuff, so people can check me out there. Keep an eye on what the water's doing.
Yeah, I looked up, and we'll have some of this information on my website, lroutdoors.com. Terry, thank you, buddy, for being with us. Keep fishing, and hope to get up there one day with I'll bring Jim Perry along as my interpreter, okay? So
so you come on up, and I'll get you out there, and we'll take Jim so we'll have somebody to make fun of.
That's you got that. All right, Terry Elliott, thank you, buddy. All right, let's take another break on Outdoors. Be right back.